All right, welcome to Module 1, Week 1. This is the module view. If you click on the navigational pane and get to the modules, you'll see that we have module number 1 and it's got the dates for the first week. With this, you can just click on each one and then go back if you wanted to do that. I think it's easier to click on it and then navigate through utilizing the next button down on the bottom right-hand corner. We start this with an introduction. Each week, I will have an introductory video where I go over the module and discuss what we're going to be doing this week, what my expectations are, and anything that I want you to pay specific attention to. So, just kind of a highlight video giving the basic lay of the land for the week. Click the next button. We go on to the first assignment of the semester, a meet and greet discussion board. The meet and greet discussion board is an opportunity for us all to kind of get to know each other, see who else is in this class. Now, you don't have to do a video. I recommend that you do a video. What you do have to do is respond to at least two other students' discussion posts. So you have your initial discussion post, and then you have two responses. There are always some students each semester who never seem to make a response and they're just leaving easy points on the table. So don't be that student. Make sure that you get your two responses in. You don't have to do two, you could do more than two, but you at least have to do those two. So, it's the first time I'm using Harmonize, by the way. So, this is kind of a social experience for me, experiment for me. Moving on, we get to how do I use Canvas? This is just a tutorial guiding you on how to navigate through the system. If you're familiar with the system, if you're not familiar with the system, there may be some benefit to going through this. Now, all of these links basically take you to the same resource. So once you get to that resource, you can click around from there as well. So you don't have to go off this, but I did kind of try to keep some high level FAQs if you wanted to just go to something directly. Then we get to M-1, Netiquette Infograph. This is just laying out some basic ideas on how to comport ourselves within the course. I've never had a problem with an online course. I know anytime people can be anonymous online, they might, instigate flame wars or get a little crazy. But I've never had that with the class, so I'm not suggesting that's going to be a problem. I always think maybe this will be the semester I take this page out and then I think if it's a problem, then you're going to wish you had it in there. So for now, I'm keeping it in. M-1 handout, MLA document design. Modern Language Association is a style guide. There are different style guides that are used in different disciplines. If you've ever written for a newspaper, you might have used Associated Press style guide. Um, People writing in sciences will use the APA, American Psychological Association guidelines. In the liberal arts studies, like English, we utilize the MLA, Modern Language Association style guide. It's just minor differences on how we, stylistically document things within our papers. Um, the one big thing is going to be in text citations. That is the big one that I really want you to concentrate on. Anytime you're paraphrasing, anytime you're direct quoting, anytime that you are summarizing, you need to give attribution to the original author. You're going to use the MLA style guide. You're going to have the author's last name with the page number and the end before the end punctuation and a parenthetical citation. Now, anytime you have that, you also have to have a works cited at the very end of it. So these are very specific. This lays out the expectation on what that's going to look like. If you're unfamiliar with it, you can ask me. You can also find plenty of online resources on how this is supposed to look. The big thing is we are not using APA. I don't want to see dates in the parenthetical citation. APA is science based. It's much more concerned with the freshness of resources. So it'll have a date there. If I published something and you were quoting it and you said Cruise 1988, then it lets you know that the research that you're pulling from me was created in 1988. In the sciences, that would be more important because they'd say, Cruise is still publishing things. He's updated a lot of his previous ideas. That is not very fresh data. But in MLA, which is what we're doing, we're looking for the page number because we don't care about the dates. A lot of the stuff we're studying was written a long time ago. What we're more concerned about is the page number or being able to locate or find it. Within the style guide, we also have the expectations for what a essay is supposed to look like. This gives us the signature block, the title, and kind of the style or the format for the first page for the page. Every assignment that we have in this class is not an essay. So you don't have to formalize or dress up the assignments that are not essays as if they were. Normal assignments can just go into the text box, they can just go into a page. It doesn't really matter what they look like. Only an essay has to be dressed up as an essay. All right. Then we get into M-1, the syllabus. This lays out all of the expectations for the course, tells you how to reach me, talks about office hours, gets into the text, class attendance, the grading, everything that you need to know. There's also some additional resources that are available through the college. I urge you to read through that through the first week. And if you have questions, please come talk to me. Then we have the English 300 rubric. The rubric is specifically utilized for our essays. This is how I am going to grade our essays. We don't have an English 1001 grading rubric, at least not yet. So we're going to continue to use the English 300 or what is now the English 1000 grading rubric. This just tries to lay out in exact detail what the grades are based on. I don't want to grade in a world where it's just a matter of, well, I felt like this was a C paper. I felt like this was an A paper. And we're certainly not going to go based on, well, I tried really, really hard, so I think I deserve an A. I think it needs to be more absolute. We need to have more specific guidelines. And so the grading rubric gives us those guidelines. So I'm giving this to you now so you can kind of consider what the essays are supposed to look like, what I'm looking for, and how I'm going to grade. And so when you turn in an essay, and I will discuss this later, you need to have a grade justification. It'll be after the works cited, but it needs to be included. And it's going to tell me the grade that you believe you deserve on the paper. And it's going to utilize the language from the English 300 grading rubric. So you're going to be able to say, I think I deserve a B on this paper because I addressed the assignment extremely clearly and I set a meaningful task. And by meaningful task, what I mean is, and you can explain it a little bit, you're justifying the grade. I want to make sure that you and I both are on the same idea plane what the grade deserves or what the paper deserves. I don't want you to feel like the grading justification is like you arguing for that grade. It's not the time to exercise rhetoric. I'm trying to assess it. I'm trying to open the dialogue. I think you and I will both have an idea of what the grade should be. And I want to have an honest discussion about that. I don't want there to be surprises. And I want you to get the grade that you earned based on how it shows up or arrives or is seen through the eyes of the grading rubric. So we will be revisiting this. Then we have a reading. We're going to do a reading of the review of teaching advanced composition, why and how. And then based on that reading, we have an analysis of that review. So this is going to be the second assignment. And the details are here. Oh, in another video. How fun will that be? Very, I know. Then we have a brief introductory lecture. It's blank. Obviously, I still need to do that. And then that's it. That's our week. Then we get into module number 2 for next week. So that is our week for module number 1. If you have any questions, please let me know. I will not have an office hour this week. I will start the office hours next week. So I will be sharing that within the announcements. I will give you the Zoom address and the time. It'll most likely be like a Tuesday or a Wednesday at noon. If you have any questions, please